What if everything the residents believed about the forest was wrong? For years, the people trapped in town have feared the creatures that emerge after dark. They believed the monsters were the greatest danger lurking beyond the trees. But in Episode 7, a horrifying discovery changes everything and reveals that the forest itself may be hiding a secret far worse than anyone ever imagined. The episode opens with Boyd still struggling to make sense of the strange symbols discovered near the abandoned settlement. After the shocking events of the previous episode, he becomes convinced that the answers to the town's mystery are hidden somewhere deep within the forest. Despite objections from Donna and Kenny, Boyd assembles a small group and sets out to investigate. Meanwhile, Tabitha continues experiencing disturbing visions. The images are becoming more detailed, more vivid, and impossible to ignore. This time she sees children standing among twisted trees, silently pointing toward a location she has never visited before. When she describes the vision to Jade, he immediately recognizes several symbols that match those found inside the underground tunnels. Determined to uncover the truth, Jade joins Boyd's expedition. As they venture deeper into the forest than anyone has gone before, the atmosphere becomes increasingly unsettling. The trees seem different. The air feels heavier. Even the sounds of wildlife disappear completely. The group soon discovers strange markings carved into dozens of tree trunks. Unlike the symbols they have seen before, these carvings appear ancient. And they seem to tell a story. Jade carefully examines the markings and begins piecing together their meaning. The symbols depict people entering the forest centuries ago. They show settlements being built. Families living in peace. Then the carvings suddenly change. The images become darker. Human figures are shown kneeling before an enormous shadow hidden among the trees. Several carvings depict people willingly walking into the forest and never returning. The revelation terrifies everyone. These images suggest that the town's nightmare may have existed for generations. Back in town, tensions rise as supplies continue to run low. Donna struggles to maintain order while rumors spread about Boyd's mission. Many residents fear that every attempt to uncover the truth only makes things worse. Their fears seem justified when a violent storm suddenly rolls in. Dark clouds gather overhead despite clear weather forecasts. Powerful winds shake buildings throughout the town. Windows rattle. Power flickers. And then the forest begins to react. Trees sway violently despite the lack of rain. It's as though something inside the woods has awakened. Deep within the forest, Boyd's group discovers an enormous clearing hidden behind a wall of dense vegetation. At the center stands a massive stone structure unlike anything they have seen before. But one detail freezes the group in place. The carvings include images of the town itself. Not the original settlement. The current town. The diner. The sheriff's station. Colony house. Everything. The structure appears to have existed long before any of them arrived, yet somehow it depicts buildings that shouldn't even exist. Jade realizes the horrifying implication. The forest knew they were coming. For generations, people have assumed the town was trapped inside the forest. But what if the opposite is true? What if the forest created the town? As night approaches, the group attempts to return home, but something goes terribly wrong. The paths they used earlier have disappeared. Familiar landmarks are gone. The forest itself seems to be shifting around them. Panic begins to spread. Then they hear voices. Not monster screams. Human voices. Children laughing somewhere in the darkness. The same children from Tabitha's visions. Following the sounds leads them to a hidden cave entrance concealed beneath tangled roots. Inside they discover evidence that someone has been living there recently. There are candles. Food. Fresh footprints. And a journal. Boyd quickly opens the weathered notebook, hoping for answers. Instead, he finds a warning. Written repeatedly across dozens of pages are the same chilling words: the monsters are only the beginning. The group falls silent. Because for the first time since arriving in town, they realize the creatures that hunt them every night may simply be servants of something far older and far more powerful. The episode ends with Boyd turning the final page of the journal. A hand-drawn map reveals a massive network stretching beneath the entire forest. At the center is a symbol none of them recognize. And beneath it, a single sentence: "It's waking up." As the camera pulls back over the dark forest, distant lights begin appearing between the trees. Hundreds of them. Moving slowly toward town. Fade to black. Boyd stares at the final page of the journal, unable to look away from the words. It's waking up. The silence inside the cave becomes unbearable. For a moment, nobody speaks. Then a loud rumble shakes the ground beneath their feet. Dust falls from the cave ceiling as everyone instinctively reaches for support. Kenny shines his flashlight deeper into the tunnel and notices something moving along the walls. The symbols. They aren't glowing. They're shifting. Slowly. Almost like living things. "Tell me you're seeing that," Kenny whispers. Nobody answers because they are all staring at the same impossible sight. The symbols seem to rearrange themselves, forming a pattern that points toward a narrow passage hidden behind a rock formation. Against every instinct telling him to leave, Boyd decides they need answers now. The group squeezes through the opening and enters a massive underground chamber. What they find there changes everything. What they find there changes everything. The room is enormous. Far larger than the cave system should allow. Ancient pillars stretch upward into darkness. Thousands of symbols cover every surface. And in the center stands a giant stone circle surrounding what appears to be a deep shaft descending into complete blackness. No bottom is visible. Jade carefully steps forward. The moment he reaches the edge, a strange sound rises from below. Not a voice. Not an animal. Something else. Something ancient. The noise sends chills through everyone. Then Jade notices fresh footprints surrounding the pit. Someone was here recently. Very recently. Before he can investigate further, a beam of light appears on the opposite side of the chamber. Everyone freezes. A figure emerges from the darkness. An old man. Dirty. Exhausted. Terrified. Boyd raises his weapon immediately. "Who are you?" The stranger slowly lifts his hands. His eyes are filled with fear. "You shouldn't be here." The man reveals that he has been hiding beneath the forest for years. Years. Long enough to learn the truth about the place. According to him, the creatures everyone fears are not hunters. They're guards. The revelation stuns the group. The monsters don't exist to keep people trapped. They exist to keep something trapped underground. Something beneath the forest. Something that has been imprisoned for centuries. As the stranger speaks, another tremor shakes the chamber. This time the shaft emits a faint red glow. The old man's face turns pale. "No." Boyd demands answers. The stranger points toward the abyss. "It's hearing us." Suddenly the temperature drops. Every flashlight begins flickering. Then comes the sound. A deep, distant heartbeat. One slow thump. Then another. And another. The entire chamber vibrates with each pulse. Everyone realizes the impossible truth at the same moment. Whatever lies beneath the forest is alive. Back in town, Donna notices strange activity near the edge of the woods. Lights. Dozens of them. Moving between the trees. At first she thinks they're people. Then the lights stop. Hundreds of glowing eyes appear in the darkness. Watching. Waiting. The monsters have gathered. Not hunting. Not attacking. Watching the forest itself. As if they're expecting something. Something big. Donna immediately orders everyone indoors. But before anyone can react, a deafening roar echoes across the valley. The sound doesn't come from the creatures. It comes from beneath the earth. Windows shatter throughout town. Cars shake violently. And for the first time since anyone arrived, every monster turns toward the center of the forest in fear. Meanwhile, underground, the old man stumbles backward. His voice trembles. It's too late. The red glow erupts from the shaft. The heartbeat grows louder. Faster. Stronger.